Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm so delighted that you are here with us this evening. My name is Kristen Brogdon. I'm Northrop's Director of Programming, and I am delighted to welcome you today. We're here this evening for a Meet the Artists panel with Swing Out. Swing Out is a new dance work that Northrop has co-commissioned. We'll be presenting it in person, hopefully a year from now. And in the meantime, this month, October 2020, the artists of Swing Out are joining Northrop in a virtual residency. So we're going to introduce the creative team behind Swing Out this evening, have them tell you a little bit about themselves and their creative process. And tonight is also the launch of our artistic exchange program. So I am going to start with letting the artists introduce themselves, and Caleb, we'll start with you.
Hey everybody, good to see so many familiar faces and familiar names. My name is Caleb Teicher. I'm a dancer and choreographer based in New York. I'm calling in from Harlem. I'm actually calling in from the sacred grounds of where the Savoy Ballroom once stood, which is where I just happen to live. I'm really thrilled to be here, part of this team, and partnering with Northrop first for a presentation of Swing Out as a theater performance and separately as an educational and virtual residency this fall. And I kick it to Eyal.
Hi, I'm Eyal. I'm the band leader and composer for Swing Out. And I'm very happy to be here and share with you, our process about the show and to get to meet all of you guys. Should I kick it on to somebody else? Tasha, would you like to go next?
Sure. Thanks, Eyal. LaTasha Barnes. Tasha is fine as we're interacting online. I am a tradition bearer of African American social dance forms, an international educator and ethnochoreologist, and one of the members of the Brain Trust of this amazing production. Really excited to be here with all of you today too. So looking forward to the hang and getting to chat with everybody about their expectations for this exchange. And thank you again to Northrop for this opportunity. And I will kick it to Nathan.
Hi, my name's Nathan Bew, and like a few of these people, I'm one of the most famous swing dancers in the world, which means a few thousand people already know this information. I've been doing Lindy Hop a long time, learned from a lot of the people who dance at the Savoy Ballroom, and I live in New York, where there's still a vibrant and ongoing dance community. Let's hear from Macy.
Hi everyone, my name is Macy Sullivan and I'm also a member of the Brain Trust on the assistant director and understudy side of things. I'm also very excited to get to meet all of you, hear what you're hoping to get out of this, and I think I'll pass it to Evita now.
Hello, everybody. My name is Evita Arce. I also live in New York City. I've been up in Harlem and currently now in Washington Heights. And I've been doing Lindy Hop for roughly around 20 years. And I'm really excited about this show and this opportunity and so grateful for the opportunities coming forward from Northrop and the joys to share this. And this residency is a really exciting worldwide project. So looking forward to saying hi to everybody and answering questions.
Thank you, Brain Trust. I have some questions for all of you now. So Caleb, I'll start again with you. For those who aren't familiar, what is Swing Out in concept as a show?
Yeah, in concept as a show. Obviously, this year has changed our kind of original prompts. This conversation, this idea began 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, when the Joyce came to me talking about wanting to put together a big expletive swing dance show. And I was in full support of this type of effort because I thought it would be a really beautiful way to highlight the values and the power and the talents in this greater Lindy Hop community that is still thriving, not as a sort of preservation of a historical dance, but as a living, breathing, international scene. I almost immediately brought forth the sort of imperative to making the show that it would require a team of creators, because there are so many perspectives that need to be felt and understood about Lindy Hop. Lindy Hop is not a monolith, and I brought together a bunch of different perspectives essentially on Lindy Hop. And then after that, we brought together even more people, cast members and musicians. And so from a numbers perspective, Swing Out as a show will have 22 people on stage each night. That's 12 dancers and 10 musicians in the big band. And the show is about 60, 75 minutes, somewhere in that realm as a show, and that there's choreography and improvisation, and you'll laugh, you'll cry, etc., etc. And after that part of the show, we have something akin to a jam, in which after a brief break, the band gets up and plays a set, and we invite the audience to come on stage and dance with the band. We felt it was not enough to present the dance. We wanted the dance to be felt, embodied, experienced. And we are patiently waiting for a world that will allow human contact, germy, social dancing, because we feel that this show is not appropriate for social distancing and for the virtual space. We believe the show idea, the performance idea, must be experienced, must be felt by the performers and by the audience in real life. So there's probably going to be a lot more said about that, but that's the basic gist. Lots of people on stage dancing, and then the audience comes too.
And we will be so excited to host that when the time is right. So we are with you on that. Eyal, the next question is for you. Could you talk about the music in the show? What's it like as the composer to be collaborating with these choreographers and these dancers?
Sure. Well, what it's like, it's great. Because really everyone on the cast and in the Brain Trust are such an amazing artist and creators and improvisers, and it's something I've been looking forward to for a long time. And in general, the connection between the music, jazz music, and authentic jazz, Lindy Hop dance, is something that's very dear to me and I'm very interested in and very passionate about. So, we've been experimenting a lot with improvising together, and with exchanging and conversing basically between these two art forms, and to put it into a show that we can actually present, and to work on specific choreographies, and to write music to it was just a dream come true, and something I'm super, super excited about.
Thank you for that. Nathan, my next question for you is actually a two-part question.
I love it.
Excellent. What does the dancing in this show look like? And then part two is, what is the umbrella of jazz?
What's it look like? Yeah, it looks like, it's like, it kind of looks like that. It's like nothing you've ever seen before. And unless you've seen it before, but then you know what I'm talking about. So it's kind of hard to say exactly, but it looks like a dance of communication. It looks like a body saying something to you about rhythms, and it's a body communicating and being in dialogue with music. It looks a little bit like, there are lots of more codified forms of dance that represent the commercialization and or just the co-opting and the stealing of this particular dance form, and we're familiar with some of those shapes, and some of those shapes will be present in the root form of the dance, so there would be some recognition there, but it's a very honest, a very personal type of movement, open to a variety of bodies and ages. The second question, what's the umbrella of jazz? It's really about the music, of course. So we're talking about the movement that was inspired by the music, basically from the 20s through the into like 1950, something like this. There's the heyday of popular social jazz dance. And although we present a lot of styles from influenced by all those different decades, there's a big focus on Lindy Hop, and I'm in conversations right now with my friends and colleagues, the people here, about just how local a phenomenon Lindy Hop was. But Lindy Hop is an African-American dance, began at the Savoy Ballroom, where Caleb lives in an apartment complex, which is what that piece of land turned into. And it was Al Minns in Ion Dance says that they started doing swing outs, which is the move of Lindy Hop, around 1928 or 29. Frankie Manning has said that the dance they were doing before that was the collegiate. I don't hear that reported very often, so it's one person, but he was there, so that's a good account. And a lot of the elements of style that we have in the Lindy Hop, for the people who are practicing it today, we owe those elements of style to Frankie Manning. So it's been a little bit reduced somewhat, but it remains a dance about individuality, and that's that. So Lindy Hop is the dominant style within this umbrella. I hope that wasn't too confusing. I'll pass it on to the next interviewee.
Oh, I think that was great. And my next question is for Latasha. I think this will be kind of a nice segue. So Latasha, what is the significance of this art form to the Black American dance continuum? And what's the significance of presenting it in this way?
Wow. Thanks for that. And yes, Nathan, could I love you more? I mean, I'm just saying. This is why I love working with this team. Like, we may have had different or individual perspectives, but our values, our values about this art form are very much the same. And speaking to that, the significance of this, honestly, I'm probably just going to answer both questions all together. To the Black American dance continuum, most simply put, is putting this dance form in this format, putting this dance form on a platform where not only American dancers and educators and global dancers and educators can recognize the power and the passion, as we write, about Lindy Hop and its community, which created it, as Nathan was pointing out. There's a local version that has kind of transferred its way around the globe that is celebrated as the Lindy Hop, but it was more than just the vision and embodiment of this one person. It is the dance of the community of people who come to celebrate it. The dance itself was meant to be an encapsulation of the lived experiences of the people who birthed it, as has been said many times, the African-American community in Harlem. But the African-American community in Harlem didn't just pop up in Harlem. They migrated from different places and areas and took their understandings and beings and embodiments with them. And so we get to see their understandings of themselves and the ways they would like to represent themselves through their artistry, through their dance. And this dance, jazz, real jazz, and Lindy Hop have been the creator of many of these other dances that we celebrate today. It's the sire of those things. It's not exactly the same. Some people would like to make that confusion to make things easier for themselves, but that's not what we're doing. It has influenced and created a platform for these other expressions to come about in concert with the music, as Eyal and Nathan pointed out. It is always a reflection of the music, and the music is a reflection of the people, and the people are the ones creating the dance. So again, the symbiosis of this amazing cultural artifact is what this dance form represents. And most importantly, it's giving us an opportunity to recenter, from my perspective, because that's what I'm focused on as well, the Black gaze upon this cultural art form, because it is really disappointing that most Black Americans don't know that this dance is an inherently Black art form. But to present it in this way is giving a chance for the rest of the world and those who are from its creative origins to really connect with it in a personal way. And for us, bringing the community approach to it it's imperative. And it's I didn't know I was going to get this excited about it again, but every time we talk about this show, it's so amazing what we're able to represent and bring together and to create together. And literally the excitement of that is what we want people to see when they experience any aspect of the show. That's us talking about it, the snippets from the amazing photo shoot and video shoot that we did, as well as in any of these interactions that's going to come about from these exchanges. Its entire purpose is to tell our stories. So the significance is giving people, especially Black people, a place and empowerment to tell more of those stories and to be supportive and bring the community of those of us who support the telling of those stories together. So.
Thank you. I have to say how excited I am to hear you talk even more about this next week. So thank you for that. I'm going to go next to Macy. Macy, how has the development of this show in its original form been different from the development of other shows you might see in a theater?
Sure thing, and thank you, Latasha. For full transparency, I am the most new to Lindy Hop and vernacular jazz and the Brain Trust, and I say that because I'll answer this through the lens of somebody who spent a lot of time doing modern dance and performing in a concert dance program as what I'm comparing to as what you might see in a theater. And I'll start with what's similar. A well-developed show that's done thoughtfully and with integrity takes time. And so this show has taken a few years to develop. It hasn't happened overnight. And that process has been broken up between, we had a residency in Bilbao, Spain, where we got to work all day, every day, very, very intensely. And then there are also times where we're rehearsing in New York City, but it's a few hours there, a few hours here. But there's an ebb and flow to the process, and that's pretty similar with other program developments. And I'll also say that considering the arc of the evening is a similarity. And while absolutely a social dance can stand on its own because it's phenomenal, and that's why it's part 2, we also knew that audiences who would be seeing this work will have different entry points to Lindy Hop. And because there are also certain artistic values and ideas that we felt could be better expressed with forethought and practice, we wanted to build a show part of this as well. And so, considering the arcs of and the ebbs and flows of the music, of how many dancers are on stage, of the mood, choreography versus improvisation, like energy dynamics, all of that is taken into consideration as we build, the 60 minutes that is Act 1. In terms of differences, this is actually what I'm really excited about. How it's different, however, is, well, first of all, 10 musicians, like that's not to be taken for granted. I think I've done one show that had that many musicians, maybe a few more, but that doesn't happen every day. So thank you. And then this is a term I just came up with, organic brainstorming. We have had meetings that were planned, like we had a debrief after Bilbao, we chat on this, or we had a set design meeting, we've had rehearsal planning sessions, but I'd say that there's also been a lot of conversation that's happened spontaneously. Our work between the group of us, our work overlaps in various ways too. And so, walking to the subway, we end up chatting about, oh my God, I can't wait till this person's in the room. And oh my God, we should try this and that, so there's a lot of just organic, spontaneous brainstorming. The process is different for creating movement. There's not one choreographer in the front of the room who's making all the calls and making all the decisions. I'd say it's a pretty democratic process. We're trying things. Sometimes that makes it more complicated because there's a lot of voices, but it's also more beautiful that way. As Caleb said, he wanted to bring in a lot of perspectives. And so, the group of us have also been said several perspectives that share like a common set of artistic values. And once we muddle through like the ideas about how to do it this way or that way, we settle on something that feels good to serve those values. Improvisation, other works that I've been in, improvisation serves, usually I might improvise for 3 seconds. That's how long the moment is. And in this show, we've actually said that, like, no, improvisation is a huge part of this. Like, of course, like a whole song could be improvised, and it's going to be more beautiful because of that. And so that has to be in the show. Like, obviously, it's not just, I don't know what to put here, like ask the dancer to make up a shape for 3 seconds. No, improvisation should be here because all of the artists in the cast are exceptionally talented improvisers also. And then a last note is that it's a dance form that looks human and feels human, and isn't one that asks your body to do unnatural things, or you don't have to look a certain way. And I think that has influenced the way we've developed the work too, and the way we are in rehearsals. We're kind to each other. We're human. We're realistic. We relate to each other in human ways, and it's not something to be taken for granted. That's all.
That's beautiful. Getting a little emotional here. So my last formal question is for Evita. What would you like Swing Out to mean for the artistic world and the wider world 10 years from now?
Well, most immediately, I think the Brain Trust and the cast hopes that this show elevates the awareness of what true jazz dance is and ignites an interest for Lindy Hop in a wider audience. I think particularly in the concert dance world, and in institutions that teach dance. In the next 10 years, I would love to see Lindy Hop classes and solo jazz classes being offered to every high school dance curriculum and in every university dance program. This dance and this art form is the physical embodiment of jazz dance. And it's a beautiful, uplifting, joyful, empowering skill set. And it's uniquely American. And as Latasha explained earlier, this art form deeply reflects the cultural lessons of African Americans who gave us the best examples of jazz. And in my opinion, Lindy Hop teaches us how we can strengthen an individual's character and at the same time learn how to play well with others.
Thank you all so much. It's so beautiful to hear all of you talk about the project, to hear about the common values that you have, but also all of your different perspectives. So I'm really happy that we had a chance to hear from all of you tonight. Right now I'm going to turn it over to my colleague. Kat Keljic is Northrop's Campus and Community Engagement Coordinator, and she's going to talk a little bit about the public events and also the artistic exchange that we're kicking off tonight. So over to you, Kat.
Great, thank you, Kristen. I am joining everyone else in being so excited about this. As someone who loves Lindy Hop and jazz and Frankie Manning, I'm really excited to get into this work with you all and share it with our communities. So I wanted to point out a couple upcoming events that folks in the meeting can join. Some really cool, free, open to the public events. Coming up on October 8th, just next week already, at 3:30 Central Time, we have Latasha Barnes and Gabby Cook joining us for a discussion as part of a series that Northrop presents called Spotlight Series that looks at dualities of nature and polarization. And this focuses on identities and the creative process. So I hope everyone joins for that. And then on October 10th, we have an actual dance class to get everyone dancing again. In this time that we can't be together, we're gonna focus on some solo jazz. Nathan will be leading that exciting master class from 6:30 to 8 Central Standard Time again. And that's, a solo jazz class, and it's open to anyone who wants to learn about the form and has a little experience and then wants to join solo together. So I hope you all join for those events. But for this portion of the evening going forward, we are going to transition into our artistic exchange. This is a really cool and unique experience that the crew at Swing Out was able to curate by opening it up to applications from folks all over the world. And I'm happy to say that we have the data that 17 countries were represented in folks applying to this. So it really speaks to the international community that exists around this art form. So we are going to transition to that now so that folks get a chance to know each other, the participants who are on the call, hello, and the teaching artists who are part of that program. So we'll say thank you for everyone joining us this evening who is not part of that artistic exchange, but we'll hope to see you at some other events coming up. So thank you.